Okay, so now let's make the roots. So to work lightly, I will deactivate everything but the base of the trunks. And I'm gonna pick the trunk node and right click on it and add some decoration roots preset. By default, it has nothing. And it adds two nodes, so I'm gonna remove the second one because I just want to tweak the first one for now. And I don't have any roots because for now my first and last are too low. So I will increase this value, and you see that the weld geometry is pretty high. So if you don't make them pop early enough, they are gonna just not be created. So for now, it's generating three roots per trunk. I can go in the frequency here and maybe put it at 5, and I can make more or less three or maybe 5. So it makes some more random number for each trunk. So for now, it's looking a bit weird to have them that high, but it should be okay when we had the forces and extend them. So we might put a little bit more randomness in the rotation if we don't want them to have them if we don't want to have them that regularly spread around the radius of the trunk. So let's add a bit of variance. So like that, you can just break a little bit the regularity of it. And yeah, it's not too bad. So now let's go to the skin tab and play a little bit with their radius. So for now, it's a percentage of parent like 0.45. You can maybe go to 0.5 and put a little bit of randomness also on the side of them, so I don't get all my roots with the same radius. Let's make them longer because they are very short for now. So let's click on the root, go in the spine tab, and maybe I will put an absolute value here, so I have them pretty long. So I want them to crawl on the mesh and cover quite a big part of it, so I put them pretty long as a start. Maybe I can just also put some variation at this point on their length. Maybe I can be smaller, but with some variation. It's gonna look nicer and more, add some more variety. And now we could start to add the force. So let's go in the force tab and let's activate the base rock. And if you see for now, it's not very strong, so it's not following the mesh completely. So I'm going to increase it to 1. You see that it's not affected the base, so I have to activate also the force based on the length right from the beginning. So it's just like sticking to the rock right from the beginning. It's making a nicer transition that way. So now I have some nice crawling roots, but they are like interpenetrating themselves. So I'm going to create a new force with them. So I'm going to right click on the roots, make a geometry force from selected. I will keep these root names, okay? And I'm gonna right away activate the force on them. So it's just they are gonna just affect themselves. So I have two modes. I can either put them on attract or on avoid. If I go back to the root force here, and I just can show you the difference. So in attract, they're gonna just try to stick to each other and like being entangled like that, and the avoid is gonna try to push them away from each other. So the avoid is looking pretty nice actually. They are trying to cover more surface that way. I mean, one mode or the other is working pretty fine actually, but I kind of like the way it spreads across the surface right now. And don't get too attached to the look at this point because every parameter is going to change a lot the direction of the roots. So if for example I like this one for now, I'm pretty sure that toward the end it's not going to be exactly there. So if I need that one at one point, I will like toward the end fiddle around with the parameters to have this kind of roots going like over the face like that. So let's see how it's look toward the end. Yes. So if I go back on the roots in the force tab, there is a follow strength parameter here. I will put it a little bit. It's actually making the roots follow the mesh as much as possible. Actually, here it doesn't mean much because the mesh is it doesn't have a special direction, and it's actually already stick to the mesh, but what it will allow me to do is to add some noise on it. So now that I have some follow, I can put a little bit of noise and maybe increase the turbulence also to have some more randomness in the direction of the root. I don't know if it makes like big difference, but I kind of like it. Might try to just remove it and see the difference. Well, it's not that important to have it, I guess. So you could play with these parameters if you want, depending on the situation you have. It might help to make some more randomness in the directions of your roots. I'm pretty happy now because the form of my rock is pretty random enough to make these directions looking rich. So I don't have to use this. What I can do though is go in the displacement and add a bit of radial displacement. It's gonna make some variations on the size of the roots. If I like exaggerate it, you see that we can start to see some variations, and it's a bit too much for now, I guess. So let's go back to like 0.7 maybe, and it's gonna, you see, change the direction each time I play with these parameters. So maybe let's take a look at the subdivision. I guess we are pretty okay for now. Maybe we could increase a little bit the subdivisions if we want to have a bit more accurate noise on them. So let's go to the segment tab, and in the absolute or relative, let's go like to 2 maybe. We have more details to see the noise happening. Maybe we could go also to the displacement tab and have a bit of fine displacement, just to break a little bit more. Let's like go crazy on one, maybe like 0.5 should be good. Maybe it's too much, 0.4. Okay, so let's go back to the standard mode. And we start to have some pretty nice looking primary roots. Maybe the fine displacement is a bit too much for now. Let's go back to edit it a little bit. So let's like go to 0.2, should be enough. Maybe it's 0.3. Okay, should be nice. If I don't want my roots to disappear too fast or get too thin too fast, I could just go also here in the skin tab and edit this one a little bit, just to keep them a bit thicker, a bit longer. So if I want to have this kind of ankle temple feel and not having them becoming too thin too fast, it's a good way to do that. So now I would like to add some smaller roots coming out of the main roots. So we'll just right click on the roots and go to the add geometry, and I will add some bifurcating branches. Let's isolate one root so I can see a little bit better what I do. So let's click on one root, press an F, and let's play a little bit with the let's go back to the with the frequency, so I can like I'm in interval right now, and I'm not on the good node. So yeah, bifurcation. Let's reduce the spacing if I want a little bit more roots. Maybe I can activate the alignment, so they try to get a bit more parallel to the ground. It's going to be easier for them to start to grow like that, and then I can make them stick on the surface a bit better. So if their initial direction is to like from up or down, it's going to be having to make some kind of weird jump to go and stick to the surface. So let's in the force activate the base rock. The same way we did, like let's make it 1 and let's make it active right from the beginning. So they're gonna stick on the rock like that, and I can also activate the root force, so I can just like have them not interpenetrate with the main roots. You see that when I activate them, the branches disappear because they are not on the same path than the roots. So I have to make them created one path later to actually be able to use this force. So you see that we have one weird artifact here. It seems to be the blending geometry that's acting a bit funky. Let's see if maybe I can reduce the force, the root force, not to be that strong, because I just want not to penetrate them, so I don't have to actually go and fold them too much. You see that the length, I guess, here is a bit lacking a bit of segments. So let's maybe go here and increase a little bit the segment length for my secondary roots. One thing that could be nice also is to go in the skin tab and increase the lower scale and just to have them a little bit more merged to the main roots. One thing also that could help is to increase a little bit the offset, just to have them not being too much aligned at the beginning, just to make like separate them from the main roots. So maybe it's not the best route I've chosen to illustrate the point here. Let's see how it looks globally, like by pressing Ctrl F and redisplaying all the roots. Maybe I have a little bit too much of them, and maybe they are a bit too thick, I guess. So let's go in the maybe bifurcating tab node and in the skin tab, let's decrease the percentage of parent, like maybe go to 0.5, just to make them much smaller. And I guess it's starting to look pretty nice. So it makes some kind of secondary detail and having some thinner roots crawling around. It's looking pretty nice. And like almost nothing is interpenetrating. I could push even further and like say that these ones are a force as well. Let's try. Might be overkill. We don't see too much of the interpenetration. Let's see if the look is nice that way. So let's make a geometry force from selected, and we could then call them like secondary roots, because the generator names start not to make much sense for now. So let's try to use this force on themselves and see how it works. And you see it starts to be pretty slow because we have many level of recursions, but I mean, we just compute it once and then we export, so we can just like, yeah, why not keep them? And if you have some close-up to do, like almost nothing is interpenetrating now, so it's looking pretty nice. So yeah, we have pretty nice looking roots. I kind of like the way the roots is falling here. Maybe this one is maybe disrupting a little bit the eye, so I could just go on this one and press on randomize just to have a new seed number for this generator, and I can just press a few times until I'm happy with the way the roots fall on the mesh. So okay, that's pretty nice, and I can say it's a nice looking set of roots. So I mean, play with that. It's pretty fun to play with. Let's look how it's let's see how it looks with the rest of the tree. And it's gonna be a bit heavy now. We start to have more and more polygons and more generators, so it's getting pretty heavy. But I mean, SpeedTree is doing a good job at having all this complexity handled, I find. Now we have 1.8 million polygon, not too bad. And 3 million faces for the, 4 million faces for the leaves, but these ones are going to be instances, so we are pretty okay, I guess. Maybe we have a bit too much roots, but I kind of like the look of it, and it's going to be covered by moss anyway, so it's looking like a nice natural blanket, kind of Angkor temple feel. It's a mix between bonsai and Angkor trees, like it. So in the next video, we're going to start to build the ivy growing on the trunks.